Ever get the feeling that those small amounts you could be saving are kind of, well, insignificant?
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to deep dive into an idea that might just shift your thinking.
Yeah.
It's the power of small savings.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack why consistently saving, even a tiny bit, can totally change your finances.
It really is interesting how our brains just kind of like write off small amounts.
Yeah.
We're always thinking, what's $5 a day going to do?
Right.
But that's where like the magic is.
Okay.
It's in changing our mindsets.
Yeah.
And really understanding the power of consistency and time.
So, okay, help me get this straight.
Sure.
What's so amazing about saving just a little bit all the time?
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine skipping your daily latte.
Okay.
Let's say it's $5.
$5.
Damn.
Okay.
That's $150 a month you're suddenly saving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now put that $150 into like a high-yield savings account.
Mm.
Or maybe invest it.
Yeah.
Like in a low-cost index fund.
Those small savings can really add up over time.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
That's a great point. It's not like you're cutting back on everything.
Right.
It's more about being smart with your money.
Exactly.
Putting those little bits towards something that's going to help you out later.
You got it. And that's where financial habits come in.
Okay.
It's about building a system
Mm-hmm.
one that works for you.
Right.
It's not about never treating yourself.
Right.
It's more about making choices that match your goals.
Okay, so you mentioned high-yield savings accounts and index funds.
Yeah.
For someone who's just starting out, those might sound kind of scary.
I can see that.
Can you break them down a little?
Totally.
Okay.
A high-yield savings account is just an account with a better interest rate than you'd get at a regular bank.
Okay.
It's like a safe bet,
Mm-hmm.
your money grows a bit faster.
Okay.
And an index fund, it's basically a bunch of stocks put together.
Okay.
And it tracks, a certain market index, like the S&P 500.
Right.
It's a good way to get into the stock market without too much risk.
So it sounds like there are ways to make even those small savings work harder.
Oh, for sure.
But, let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
The whole idea of compound interest can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
How does it actually work,
Yeah.
in real life?
Okay, so this is where it gets exciting.
Okay.
Let's say you're investing that $150 every month.
Okay.
And you're getting a 5% return every year.
Okay.
In that first year, you might only make $7.50 in interest.
Okay.
But here's the trick.
What's that?
The next year, you're not just earning interest on what you put in.
Right.
You're also earning interest on the interest you made the year before.
Okay.
That's the magic of compounding.
Yeah.
It's like a snowball, rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to picture it.
Totally.
Those tiny savings can grow like crazy over time.
Exactly. And, there's this handy little rule
Oh, yeah.
called the rule of 72.
Okay.
Divide 72 by your interest rate.
Okay.
And that'll tell you how long it takes for your money to double.
Wow.
So with a 5% return, your money would double in about 14 years.
That's wild.
It is. It's compound interest in action.
So even if you can only save a little bit at a time,
Mm-hmm.
if you start early and let that compound interest do its thing,
Yeah.
it can make a huge difference in the future.
Absolutely.
Makes you think twice about those impulse buys, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's not about never treating yourself.
Right.
It's more about finding a good balance.
Right.
Maybe pack your lunch a few times a week instead of eating out all the time.
Yeah.
Those little changes can really help you reach your savings goals.
So it all comes back to being aware of how you're spending your money.
Exactly.
And realizing that even small changes can have a big impact over time.
You got it.
Hmm.
And setting realistic goals is key. You don't have to jump in and start saving tons of money every month.
Right.
Start with something that feels manageable.
Yeah.
And as you get more comfortable, you can save a little more.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway for our listeners today?
Don't underestimate those small savings.
Mhm.
If you build consistent habits, use those smart saving and investment tools, and let compound interest do its magic, you can turn those little bits of money into something big.
It's a good reminder that getting your finances in order doesn't have to be overwhelming.
It doesn't.
Even small steps taken consistently can put you on the right path.
Mm.
And for folks who are looking for more tips and tricks, we recommend checking out the Dollar Stretcher and Investopedia.
Yeah, those are good
It's
resources.
got some really practical advice on making the most of your savings.
Now, here's a thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
What's one small change you can make to your spending today to take advantage of the power of those small savings? Even something as simple as brewing your coffee at home a couple of times a week can add up over time.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
This has been a fascinating deep dive
It has.
into the power of small savings.
Small savings, big impact.
We'll catch you in our next episode.
See you then.